Hello, and welcome to another video where we explore the history and myths of the world. Take a seat, lean back, and enjoy the video. Somewhere beneath the endless oceans of our planet, some believe the remains of a forgotten civilization may still be waiting to be discovered. A city of incredible wealth, a civilization said to have been more powerful than any kingdom of its time. A place where enormous temples rose above golden streets, and where advanced people built wonders far beyond their age. Its name has echoed through history for more than 2,000 years. Atlantis. But was Atlantis a real civilization destroyed by a natural disaster, a memory of a lost world, or simply the greatest fictional story ever created? For centuries, explorers, historians, and adventurers have searched for Atlantis. They have looked beneath oceans. They have studied ancient civilizations. They have followed clues hidden inside old texts. Some believe Atlantis disappeared beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others believe it was located near Greece, Antarctica, or even the Americas. But the greatest mystery is not where Atlantis was located. The greatest mystery is whether it existed at all. The story of Atlantis begins with one man, the Greek philosopher Plato. More than 2,000 years ago, Plato wrote about a powerful island civilization that existed thousands of years before his own time. According to his writings, Atlantis was located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the area near the Strait of Gibraltar. He described a society with enormous wealth, advanced engineering, and a powerful navy. But eventually, Atlantis became corrupted by greed and ambition, and according to the story, it was destroyed in a single terrible event. Plato described Atlantis as a civilization unlike anything the ancient world had seen. The city was built in a series of circles. Water channels surrounded enormous rings of land. At the center stood a magnificent temple dedicated to the god Poseidon. The Atlanteans were wealthy. They controlled vast territories. Their ships traveled across the seas, but their success eventually changed them. According to Plato's tale, the people of Atlantis became proud and hungry for power, and their downfall began. Plato described a catastrophic ending. In a single day and night of destruction, Atlantis vanished. Earthquakes shook the land, floods covered the city, and the ocean swallowed the civilization forever. The story was so dramatic that generations wondered, could something like this really have happened? Could an entire civilization disappear beneath the waves? Or was Plato teaching a lesson through a fictional story? This is where the mystery begins. Many historians believe Atlantis was never meant to be a real place. They argue that Plato created the story as a philosophical lesson, a warning about what happens when powerful societies become arrogant. In this interpretation, Atlantis was not a lost civilization. It was an idea, a story designed to make people think about morality, politics, and human nature. But many people believe there is more to the story. They point to real examples of civilizations destroyed by nature. Ancient cities have been buried by volcanic eruptions. Coastal settlements have disappeared beneath rising seas. Entire cultures have declined and vanished from history. These discoveries prove one thing: lost civilizations are not impossible. So the question becomes, could Atlantis have been one of them? One of the most popular Atlantis theories connects the legend to the ancient Minoan civilization. Thousands of years ago, on the island now known as Santorini, a massive volcanic eruption occurred. The explosion was one of the largest in human history. It destroyed settlements, triggered enormous waves, and changed the surrounding landscape forever. Some researchers believe this disaster may have inspired stories of Atlantis, a powerful civilization destroyed by nature itself. The Minoans were one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient Mediterranean. They built impressive cities, created beautiful artwork, developed trade networks across the sea. Their civilization was powerful, but after centuries of success, it declined. The exact reasons remain debated. Natural disasters may have played a role, and for some, the fall of the Minoans provide a possible clue to the Atlantis mystery. UD Santorini is only one of many theories. Across the world, people have searched for the lost city, from the Atlantic Ocean to Antarctica to forgotten corners of the ancient world. For more than 2,000 years, one question has refused to disappear. If Atlantis was real, where was it? Historians, archaeologists, explorers, and even amateur treasure hunters have searched nearly every corner of the globe. Some believe the answer lies beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others believe the clues point toward the Mediterranean. And a few believe we're looking in entirely the wrong place. So, let's examine the most famous theories and see how well they stand up to the evidence. Plato wrote that Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Today, most historians believe this referred to the Strait of Gibraltar, the narrow passage connecting the Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. If Plato meant this location literally, then Atlantis would have been somewhere in the Atlantic. That simple description has inspired centuries of exploration. Ships crossed the ocean searching for underwater ruins. Maps were redrawn. Expeditions were launched. But despite all the searching, no lost city matching Plato's description has ever been found. The Atlantic is vast, and much of its floor remains unexplored. Yet modern geology presents a challenge. There is no known evidence of a large continent sinking into the Atlantic during the period Plato described. One of the biggest questions surrounding Atlantis is geological. Could an entire island civilization simply disappear beneath the sea? Modern science tells us that continents do not suddenly sink overnight. Earth's crust moves slowly over millions of years through the movement of tectonic plates. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions can destroy cities. Tsunamis can flood coastlines. But the idea of a massive continent vanishing in a single day is extremely unlikely. That doesn't mean Plato invented everything. It simply means his description may have been symbolic, or based on a much smaller event that grew larger through generations of storytelling. Among all proposed locations for Atlantis, one stands above the rest: the Greek island of Santorini. More than 3,500 years ago, this island experienced one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history. Entire settlements were buried beneath volcanic ash. Massive tsunamis swept across the Aegean Sea. Nearby civilizations suffered enormous damage. One of them was the Minoan civilization. Their advanced cities, thriving trade networks, and remarkable engineering impressed everyone who encountered them. To many researchers, the similarities are difficult to ignore. A wealthy island civilization, destroyed by a catastrophic natural disaster. Could this real event have inspired Plato's legendary Atlantis? On Santorini lies one of archaeology's greatest discoveries, the ancient city of Akrotiri. Buried beneath volcanic ash, it remained hidden for thousands of years. When archaeologists uncovered it, they found something extraordinary: multi-story buildings, sophisticated drainage systems, beautiful artwork, evidence of a highly organized society. In many ways, Akrotiri seemed astonishingly advanced for its time. Although no evidence proves it was Atlantis, it reminds us that real civilizations can disappear, only to be rediscovered thousands of years later. Another popular theory places Atlantis much closer to Europe. In southern Spain, near the marshlands of Diana National Park, satellite images have revealed unusual circular patterns beneath the landscape. Some researchers believe these formations resemble Plato's description of Atlantis. Could these be the remains of an ancient settlement? Archaeologists have investigated the area. While evidence of ancient communities has been found, no definitive proof connects the site to Atlantis. The mystery remains unsolved. Perhaps the most dramatic Atlantis theory places the lost city beneath the ice of Antarctica. Supporters suggest that thousands of years ago, Antarctica may have been warmer and capable of supporting civilization. They argue that a sudden shift in Earth's crust buried Atlantis beneath miles of ice. It sounds like the plot of an adventure novel, but modern geology tells a different story. Antarctica has been covered by massive ice sheets for millions of years, long before humans appeared. As fascinating as the theory is, there is no scientific evidence supporting it. Every few years, headlines appear claiming Atlantis has finally been discovered. Underwater rock formations, ancient walls, strange geometric patterns on the ocean floor. Most eventually turn out to be natural formations or unrelated archaeological sites. Yet each discovery captures the world's imagination, because every new expedition carries the same hope that somewhere beneath the sea, the legend might finally become reality. Few legends have survived as long as Atlantis. Why? Because Atlantis represents more than a lost city. It represents possibility. The possibility that history still holds secrets, that civilizations greater than we imagined may have existed, and that somewhere, hidden beneath the waves, humanity's greatest discovery is still waiting. But perhaps we've been asking the wrong question all along. Instead of asking where Atlantis was, maybe we should ask why Plato told the story in the first place. After centuries of searching, not a single expedition has uncovered a city that perfectly matches Plato's description of Atlantis. So perhaps the real mystery isn't where Atlantis was, but why Plato told the story at all. Was he recording a forgotten chapter of history? Or was Atlantis never meant to be found? To answer that question, we have to return to the only place where Atlantis truly begins. Plato's own words. Everything we know about Atlantis comes from just two works written by Plato, Timaeus and Critias. In these dialogues, Plato describes Atlantis as a mighty island nation that existed approximately 9,000 years before his own lifetime. According to the story, Atlantis possessed fertile land, enormous wealth, advanced engineering, and a powerful military. But despite its greatness, the Atlanteans became arrogant. They sought to conquer other nations, and eventually, they challenged the virtuous people of ancient Athens. Plato's message seems clear. No matter how powerful a civilization becomes, pride can destroy it. Plato was not a historian. He was a philosopher. His writings often use stories to explore ideas about justice, leadership, and human nature. Many historians believe Atlantis was one of these stories, a fictional civilization created to demonstrate what happens when a society abandons wisdom in favor of greed and power. In contrast, Plato portrayed ancient Athens as disciplined, honorable, and morally strong. Atlantis represented excess. Athens represented virtue. The story may have been less about geography and more about the choices civilizations make. Still, even fictional stories are often inspired by real events. Throughout history, catastrophic disasters have destroyed entire cities. Earthquakes have leveled kingdoms. Volcanoes have buried thriving communities beneath ash. Tsunamis have erased coastal settlements in a matter of minutes. It's possible that Plato heard stories passed down through generations. Stories of real disasters that gradually transformed into the legend we know today. History is filled with places that seemed lost forever. The Roman city of Pompeii disappeared beneath volcanic ash. Akrotiri on Santorini remained buried for thousands of years before archaeologists uncovered its streets and homes. Around the world, rising seas have submerged ancient settlements once thought to be myths. These discoveries remind us of something important. Sometimes, legends begin with real places. A single disaster remembered for generations can slowly evolve into an unforgettable story. At the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, massive glaciers melted. Sea levels rose by more than 100 meters. Coastlines around the world changed dramatically. Areas that were once dry land disappeared beneath the ocean. Entire communities living along those shores may have been forced to abandon their homes. While this doesn't prove Atlantis existed, it shows that human settlements really have been lost beneath the sea, and memories of those events could have survived through ancient storytelling. Today's search for Atlantis is no longer led by knights or treasure hunters. It is led by scientists. Using sonar, underwater robots, and satellite mapping, researchers have explored vast areas of the ocean floor. These technologies have revealed ancient shipwrecks, forgotten landscapes, and submerged archaeological sites. Yet despite decades of exploration, no discovery has provided convincing evidence for Plato's lost city. The deeper we search, the more we realize just how much of our oceans remains unexplored. Why has Atlantis remained one of the world's greatest mysteries? Because it combines everything people love about history: adventure, mystery, ancient civilizations, hidden knowledge, lost treasures. Atlantis reminds us that history is not just about what we know. It is also about what we have yet to discover. Every unexplored corner of the ocean invites one more question. What else might still be waiting beneath the waves? Imagine if tomorrow, a research team announced they had discovered a city beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Massive walls, ancient temples, streets untouched for thousands of years. It would become one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history. But until that day comes, Atlantis remains exactly what it has always been: a possibility, a question, a mystery that refuses to disappear. So, is Atlantis nothing more than a legend? Or is it a forgotten memory of a civilization lost to time? One of the most famous Atlantis claims comes from the Bahamas. In 1968, divers discovered an unusual underwater rock formation near Bimini Island. The stones appeared to form long, straight lines, almost like an ancient road or seawall. Some immediately declared it was proof of Atlantis. Newspapers around the world reported the discovery. Believers celebrated. But geologists reached a different conclusion. They argued that the formation was made of naturally fractured limestone, shaped over thousands of years by waves, erosion, and geological processes. To this day, the Bimini Road remains one of the most debated underwater discoveries linked to Atlantis. In recent years, another theory has gained attention. It points not to the ocean, but to the Sahara Desert. The Rikat structure, sometimes called the Eye of the Sahara, is a massive circular geological formation visible from space. Some enthusiasts argue that its concentric rings resemble Plato's description of Atlantis. They suggest the area may once have been connected to ancient waterways before the climate changed. However, geologists explain that the Rikat structure is a natural formation created over millions of years. No archaeological evidence has shown that it was once a great lost city. Still, its remarkable appearance continues to fuel speculation. It's easy to assume we've already explored every corner of our planet. But the truth is very different. More than 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water, and large areas of the deep ocean remain only partially mapped. Every year, scientists discover previously unknown geological features, new species, ancient shipwrecks, even submerged human settlements near coastlines. Could a forgotten civilization still lie beneath the sea? It's an intriguing possibility, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So far, no evidence has confirmed the existence of Plato's Atlantis. Even without proof, Atlantis has become one of the world's most enduring legends. Writers imagined it as a city of impossible technology. Filmmakers transformed it into an underwater kingdom. Video games turned it into the setting for epic adventures. Each generation reinvents Atlantis in its own way. Yet almost every version shares the same idea: a brilliant civilization, lost before its time, waiting to be rediscovered. Perhaps the greatest reason Atlantis survives is because its story still feels relevant. Plato described a civilization that became wealthy, powerful, and overconfident. According to the legend, that arrogance led to its destruction. Whether the story was true or fictional, its message has echoed across generations. Every civilization faces choices: how it uses power, how it treats its people, and whether it learns from the mistakes of the past. In that sense, Atlantis is more than a lost city. It is a timeless warning. So, was Atlantis real? The honest answer is, we don't know. There is no definitive proof that the city ever existed. But there is also no rule that says every ancient mystery has already been solved. History has surprised us before. Cities once dismissed as myths have later been discovered beneath deserts, hidden in jungles, and buried beneath layers of volcanic ash. Perhaps one day, another discovery will force us to rethink everything we thought we knew. Atlantis may never be found. Or perhaps we simply haven't looked in the right place yet. Whether it was a real civilization, a philosopher's warning, or a legend inspired by forgotten disasters, its story continues to inspire explorers, scientists, historians, and dreamers around the world. Because Atlantis represents something larger than a lost city. It represents our endless curiosity, our desire to understand the past, and our hope that somewhere beneath the waves, there are still incredible discoveries waiting to be made. Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries. And remember, sometimes the greatest treasures aren't the ones we've found. They're the ones we're still searching for. Thank you for watching the video. Enjoy the rest of your day.